Now we'll discuss about uh, Mirabai. Okay, the story of Mirabai and the poems of Mirabai is really wonderful. Right, Mirabai was born in a very aristocratic family, and being born in an aristocratic, the families of such kind usually upheld what they call as honor, and one of them being that women have to be in a particular way, right? She was married to a man, and the man, and their family was, obviously, a kind, what we usually consider as strict, meaning that they used to follow certain traditions very seriously, right? So in that situation, Mirabai devoted herself to the worship of Krishna, and to an extent that she believed that Krishna is everything, and Krishna is her true husband. This husband which she has is is just a truce. It's just for the namesake. Her real husband is Krishna, right? and and the thing is, she was so much into Krishna that for people it appeared as if she has gone mad, right? And that is what we see. And then she says that that this is something which is very constant in, very reoccurring thought in her poem, that people think that she is mad, but she is very concerned that these mad people do not understand, right? And that's a beautiful thought, actually. People consider her to be mad, but she says that I feel for these people, because they're not able to see the truth, you know they're being mad. So that thought is very reoccurring in her poems. And she used to dance, she used to sing, and see that it is believed that every single second she lived her life, she used to dedicate it for Krishna. That means, if she sing, she used to dedicate that singing to Krishna. If she dance, she used to dedicate the dance to Krishna. Eating, everything. So, and she was very young, because of course, it was a child marriage. She was married very young. We do not know much about marital life. That is not important anyway. But her husband died when she was very young, and ever since she has no limit with her devotion of Krishna. Let us see this poem. I'll read from beginning to end once, and we can continue. I danced. People in town called me crazy. Right? She will ruin the clan, said my mother-in-law. And the prince had a cup of venom delivered. I laughed as I drink. Can't they see? Body and mind aren't something to lose. The dark ones already seized them. Mira's Lord can lift mountains. He is her refuge. Very simple, but I find it very beautiful. Let me discuss this one. I danced, right? So I danced like as if I'm crazy. That is not said here, but that is the meaning here. I danced without any break. I danced continuously, right? So that is what she mean by I dance. When she danced when her husband died. Okay, when her husband is dead, it's not that she is dancing for her death of her husband. She is dancing because she has her reasons. Her reasons is, she is dancing for Krishna. If her husband has died, why she has to stop, dancing for Krishna? That is her thought. I dance. for Krishna, even when my husband died. People in town called me crazy. See, crazy is, what, that is, she has gone mad. People in town called me crazy. Oh, obviously, because, they think that, it is very odd to dance when the husband is died. Right? So, she will ruin the clan, said my mother-in-law. So, she will ruin the name of the family, or the reputation of the family. So, the clan is that, Kula. Right? She will ruin the clan, said my mother-in-law. So she will ruin the reputation of our family, said mother-in-law. So the mother of the her late husband. Right? And the prince had a cup of venom delivered. So the prince is, his her brother-in-law. Brother-in-law is, the her husband's brother. He tried to poison her because, see, in many families, they take the reputation of the family very, very, very seriously, more seriously than it has to be, right? And they're ready to do anything till date it is in existence, right? So many families, they worry too much about the family reputation. So that is why, uh, you know many women, they can't marry the people whom they love, and some of the murders takes place because of that. If there is any case that someone might cause a insult for the family, they kill them, right? And we hear a lot about that in the newspapers as well. So, and also they excommunicate, like, you do not belong to our family, they excommunicate. So this happens, they believe that their family reputation is the ultimate thing. So to save the family reputation, what did the brother-in-law do? He tried to poison her, right? He tried to poison her and kill her off, right? And what happened next? When the poison was delivered to her, I laughed as I drink it. She knew that it was poison, and even then she drank it. And she was laughing when she used to drink it. Right. So why was she laughing? Here she says, Can't they see? Can't they see this? Body and mind aren't something to do. Right. So they think that they can destroy this body and mind, right? But it is nothing. It's not something which can be lost. It's not something which can be destroyed. Why? Because the dark ones already has seized them. Right? So the dark one has already, got them. So who is the dark one? Dark one is Krishna. The name Krishna itself means dark. Right? So the dark ones has already seized them. He has already captured my body and he has already captured my mind. So the God has captured my mind and body. Now how can these people destroy them? Right? Aren't they fools? Can't they see? Right? So can't they see? Body and mind aren't something to lose. The dark ones already seized them. Mira's Lord can lift mountains. He is a refuge. So Mira's Lord, the Krishna, is right. So the Krishna can lift mountains. We know that. No? We know the story of Govardhanagiri. We know the story of Govardhanagiri, how he gave refuge to lot of villagers as well as the cattle when it was raining heavily. Right? My God can lift mountains. Right? So when he can lift mountains, can't he just take care of her devotee. Yeah, take care of his devotee. Right. So Mira's Lord can lift mountains. He is her refuge. He is the person who is going to save me. I need not worry about that. He has already got my body and he has already got my mind. Right. So all, it is his responsibility to save me. I do not want, need to be bothered with anything. So I drink this poison very happily because I know that, I need not worry about myself at all. Right? So there is someone to worry about my body and mind. This body and mind does not belong to me. This body and mind belongs to Krishna. So Krishna's responsibilities it is to save this body and mind. And since he can, move mountains, he can lift mountains. It is not a big deal. This poison is not a big deal at all. So I drink this poison very happily. Is what she says. Right. So the title, the binding my ankles with silver. So that is how it starts actually. Binding my ankles with silver I dance. Right. So with the decoration, binding my ankles with silver is, I wore the silver bells. I decorated my legs and I started dancing when my husband died. Right. So that is a celebration. I started celebrating when my husband died. Not because my husband died. Right. I celebrate all the time because the Krishna is with me all the time, right? 24 hours, 365 days, Krishna is with me. So, and whenever Krishna is with me, I celebrate. So, even when my husband is died, I have celebrated. So, that is the idea here. So, that is what we see here. So, this is the poem, and this is what you can see that all the three poems which is given here, there is allusion to God, right? There is salutations to God, obviously, and that we see that when there is a submission, more than salutation, there is submission, and that submission is what makes this poem very these poems very important. These poems are very attractive. And yesterday I had forgot to speak about it. Please remind me to speak about Kabir at the end. Right. So far, any questions? Any questions regarding any of the three poems, or especially Mirabai? Or even uh, what is that, our bhakti movement. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. Go ahead. Any questions?